Hey, everybody. There we go. Had to get that a little more centered. So, welcome to Talk Tuesday. This is the first official Talk Tuesday that I have put together. Super excited about it. By the way, if we haven't met, my name is Jonna. I go by JJ because nobody seems to be able to pronounce Jonna, which I don't understand, but that's fine because I love JJ too. So, you can call me JJ, which is the name of my blog, the name of my channel, the name of all my platforms. So, who am I? I am a blogger, artist, writer, photographer, traveler, and that's mainly what my blog is about. What my channel is about is mostly about travel and things that are related to travel. So, fashion, destinations, gear that you need to travel, accessories, things like that, anything that kind of goes with that. And I wanted to put this Talk Tuesday together so that I had an opportunity to answer questions because I do get a lot of questions that are direct message to me about different things that people want to know about. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to go live because I love going live. I love being able to talk to you guys in real time. And I love putting together my videos too, as you'll see. But at least this way, you get to know me. You get to know the real me. You get to know, how I talk, how I act. And hopefully that translates to when you are watching my videos or reading my blog, you'll think back to this and kind of have a sense of my personality in what you're reading or what you're watching. So super glad that you guys are here today. So yeah, my background, I have traveled quite extensively. I have done a lot of solo female traveling, which is something I'm going to talk about today. And I've been out of the country, I've traveled within the country, and had lots of different experiences doing all that, which I'm super excited to share with you guys. So yeah, tune back every Tuesday, Talk Tuesday at 10. And if you have any questions in between then, reach out to me because the whole point of this is to answer your questions. And it can be about travel, it can be about me, it can be whatever you want it to be. But so today's question, I did have somebody ask me about solo female travel. And there are a lot of, that's a broad subject. There are a lot of things that you can cover when it comes to traveling alone as a female. And one of the things I think that comes up the most is people say, well, why would you want to travel alone? Well, there's a lot of reasons why. It allows for schedule flexibility. You don't have to go by what other people want. You can pick your own tours, your own destinations. You can, change your plans at the last minute if you want. So it gives you a large sense of freedom to travel alone. And another one is that it builds a lot of confidence. When you are traveling alone, there's a lot of decisions to make. You need to determine how you're going to get around, how you're going to find something to do, how, where you're going to stay, where you're going to eat. There's just so many questions that you have to be the person that answers. There's no one you can turn to. There isn't a group leader. You're the person. So it builds a lot of confidence. And then it's just the experience of it. Being able to sit quietly on a mountaintop that you've just hiked and soak that in. It's just really quite an experience. So yeah, traveling alone, there's a lot of reasons to do it. One of those too also is that it forces you to meet people. When you're traveling alone, you end up talking to the person sitting next to you in the restaurant. You end up talking to the person that's hosting your Airbnb or the people that are there with you. You really start to meet people, and it's a great way to make connections going forward. You make a lot of friends that you'll have forever. I still have friends of my Facebook, my Instagram, that I've met through my travels, and it's just a lot of fun to do that. So, however, I can tell you too, traveling alone is not for everybody. It's something some people will love, and it's something that some people will try and determine that that's not for them. And so what I would really encourage is if you are thinking about traveling alone, start small. Start with an afternoon. Do a hike by yourself. If you're not a hiker, go on a group tour, but don't take anyone that you know with you. Force yourself to meet people. Take an afternoon drive, take a day, go somewhere in your state overnight and go alone. And see how you handle that experience first, because the last thing you want to do is book this grand trip overseas, your first international trip as a solo woman, and you're in the thick of it and find out that you don't like traveling alone. Some people find it very lonely, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. We're not all, cookie cutter people. We all have individual interests. We all have individual things passions that we want to pursue. And traveling solo is something that might not be for you. So start small, build it up, make sure it's something you want to do, and see if it's the right experience for you. Now, one thing I will say is I want to throw a little mention out there about travel agents. I love working with travel agents. And, some people are hesitant to do that. They think, oh, well, they jack up their rates, and then, they really don't. Travel agents are there to help you. And if you're a female solo traveler, having a travel agent that puts something together for you can be very helpful. They're taking a lot of the thoughts like security, where to stay, outlines of what your tours are going to be like. They're taking all of that into account and really giving you the freedom to just concentrate on your trip. And a lot of them will build in flexibility. I know that there's one that I know and personally work with. She's a friend of mine, Carolina Gilcoppi, that owns Sated Travels or Sated Ventures Travels. And she travels alone all of the time. And in fact, I did an interview with her. If you go to my playlist on YouTube, you'll see it. And having her put together an itinerary for you would really be something, because she's going to know the ins and outs of traveling alone. She's going to know what it is that you need to watch out for. And it's just nice to have someone in your corner so that if you run into troubles and you need to call, you've got that person. But whether or not that's for you is your choice. Again, some people love travel agents, some don't. I love working with a travel agent, but I've also created many trips for myself as well. So it's your preference. Now, one of the questions I get is, how do I choose a destination? That's a tough one. That's like asking somebody what their favorite car is. Everybody's going to have a different, even if you say, what's your favorite sports car? I may say, I love a Lamborghini. You may love a Porsche. They're all fantastic cars, but there's going to be differences for each one. And there's going to be a reason why I like the Lambo over the Porsche and so on. And it's the same thing with traveling. If you say, well, what's the best destination for a solo female traveler? There's no definitive answer. It's subjective. There's things that you need to take into account to determine what is going to be the right destination for you. So one of the things I would say is, first of all, everybody always says, I want to go someplace safe. Well, again, safe is subjective. What is your definition of safe? How do you want your travels to be? Do you want to be in a city? Do you want to be in a small town? What makes you feel safe? Do you want to travel internationally? Is that too scary for you? Do you want to travel domestically? Maybe that's more of your comfort level. So again, safe is subjective. Obviously you can do a look at the travel guides, and there are certainly cities that are safer than others, and you should take that into account. But overall, it's kind of something that you need to feel out. Now, there are hard and fast rules on how to be safe, no matter where you go. You should always share your location through an app. We use Life360. It is fantastic. Lets you know where everybody's at. There's Google Maps has one. WhatsApp has one. Glimpse has one. And so there's lots of ways, but you should share your location. If you're traveling alone, make sure that somebody knows where you are, how they can get a hold of you, especially if your cell phone doesn't work. There are lots of dead zones, even in today's technology world. There's still lots of dead zones. If you're hiking, when I was recently in Maine hiking, there was no service, but my husband knew where I was at. I stayed at an Airbnb. She knew where I was at. The hostess did. So, make sure somebody knows where you're at. Use a theft preventative bag. I have one on my storefront, which I'm not sure. This is my first time going live on YouTube, so I don't know if I can link that or not. I'm going to try. And even if I can't, my storefront is on my blog. You can go there and find it. And plus, it's something that I put out in my weekly newsletter each week is my storefront. So that's callmejj.blog. And an anti-theft bag is there's so many different ones. The one that I have on my website or on my storefront is a crossbody bag. And it's one thing I really love about it is some of them have just hidden zippers, and it's, kind of hard to get into the zipper sometimes. This has a zipper that literally has a connector to it. So when you want to unzip it, you have to unhook this, and now you can unzip. And I just think that's brilliant, because even a hidden zipper, if you're a really good thief, you're going to be able to get in there and get that zipper open. If you're in a large crowd, if you're in Rome and there's people everywhere, somebody's going to be able to try and get into your bag. But if you've got one that's hooked, and now they've got to unhook it, and now they've got to unzip it. And so first of all, they're spending way too much time next to you. You have a better chance of feeling that kind of movement. So I really would look into an anti-theft bag. You need to be aware of your surroundings and trust your instincts. People do not trust their instincts enough. If it feels off, it probably is. And if it wasn't, better safe than sorry. So trust your instincts if you're traveling alone. Ask a concierge or ask your hostess for recommendations. There are lots of different travel groups where you can find people that have maybe been to a destination that you've been to before. Ask those people, what's a good recommendation for me to do when I'm here? What's something safe that I can do? Where's, things like that. Now, another question when you're trying to figure out what your destination should be is, how alone do you want to be? Is this a total isolation? I want to journal. I want to be by myself, complete meditation type of trip for you? Or is this more of an exploratory? I want to meet new people. Are you interested in absolutely eating alone? Or do you want to attend a cooking class? Do you want to eat in a quiet cafe? Or are you looking for more like a hibachi where everybody at the table is strangers and they're all meeting each other? Do you want to go on a solo tour that maybe you put headphones on and it's self-guided, or do you want a group tour? These are the questions you need to ask yourself, so that will help determine your destination. If you are looking at going to an extremely small town or something that's very rural, there's a good chance there might not be as many group tours. You're not going to be able to eat hibachi. So those are the things you need to take into account, is how alone do you want to be? How comfortable are you with being alone? Another one is, when you're thinking about destinations, is try and stay someplace with an Airbnb or a hostel, because those are a really great opportunity to meet people. When I was recently in Maine, I stayed at an Airbnb, and my hostess was fantastic. She was so great at suggesting things, telling me how to get around. And every morning we ate breakfast with different people, and you just really got the opportunity to meet other people that were there for the same thing as you. And they'd say, oh, hey, you know what? We did this yesterday. It was so great. You should do that. Or they'd be like, hey, we're going to go do this today if you want to go. So Airbnbs, hostels, things like that are a really great opportunity to meet people when you're out traveling and have those recommendations and have somebody help you where you want to go. So basically, that is a really long answer to where should I travel? Where should you travel as a solo female traveler? That's up to you. These tips will help you hone that down. It'll help you figure out where you want to be, what you want to see, how you want to do it. How alone do you want to be? What's your level of safety? Does a subway freak you out? I've traveled to New York many times, and some people would consider that not a safe place. I've been there many times as a solo female traveler, and I've loved it. So you need to determine what your level of safety is, what that looks like for you. Where do you want to stay? How do you want your meals to be? Those are the things that you need to take into account and determine. Do you want something small and rural, large and city? Do you want something that is like an Airbnb? Do you want something, those are the questions you need to ask. And that is going to help you determine where you should go as a solo traveler. Now, my personal recommendations, Key West is always a great place to go. Everybody there is so friendly. Everybody's just there to have a good time. That's a really great place. If that's your laid back beach vibe, if you're looking for something more hustle and bustle, more like something to do every second, New York City. Huge fan of New York City. Chicago also has a lot of great places like that for you to be able to go visit. It just really depends. I I live in the Daytona Beach area. Daytona Beach to me is a pretty good place to be as a solo traveler. You've got the opportunity for beach vibes. You've got the opportunity to do some more social things. So those are a few of the recommendations that I would have if you're looking for like hiking. Acadia National Park in Maine. That was an amazing trip, and that would be a great solo destination. But if you want further recommendations, you are welcome to message me. But that wraps up today's Talk Tuesday. I will be back with you guys every Tuesday at 10, Talk Tuesday at 10. And if you have any questions between now and then, message me. Let me know what you want to hear about. Is it something travel related, fashion related, accessory related? I'm also an artist, as you can see, so a lot of my travels involve art. So if you have a question about art, that's something I would love to address as well. So come back, join me next Tuesday at 10 for Talk Tuesday at 10 with JJ.